Okay, is this it? Last piece?
That's it.
Yes!
There it is.
We are done.
We're done. This is an exciting day. Hey, we're out here in New Haven at Home Lumber, a very important partner to Granite Ridge Builders over the years for a lot of good reasons.
We got to decide what we're going to talk about. Now, we just got done unloading this massively big car, but did you guys know transportation is absolutely so important to the Fort Wayne and New Haven history?
That's what put us on the map.
It did.
I mean, and it all really started right behind us. You can actually see it. It's the old Erie Canal.
Yeah, in fact, the Granite Rock is just up there off of 469, and it's preserved here in New Haven.
Now, the Erie Canal was about 40 feet wide, 6 feet deep, so pretty big, and they hand dug this.
Oh.
Now, the highest point of the Erie Canal was actually in Fort Wayne. They called it the Summit. That's how we got our name,
That's
Summit
why the
City.
Summit, but
Yes.
that's why they needed lots,
And
too.
it spans about 486 miles.
We talked a couple weeks ago about the towpath, and do you guys know why we needed the towpath? Well, you couldn't sail, you couldn't make those big barges float very easy, so you had to have an oxen pull it along a path, and they called that the towpath.
And now the towpath is part of the River Greenway system here of trails in Fort
Sure.
Wayne, Indiana.
Yeah, in fact, the Greenway goes from New Haven to Fort Wayne, and that's open right now for people to use.
20 some miles, I think. And then, you know, the sad thing is, the Erie Canal didn't last long. Only about, what, 10 years,
10
Tony?
years.
It took 20 years to build, only lasted 10 years, and then the train transportation entity actually purchased it
Now,
from the Erie Canal.
I bet you guys don't know, why would the train company be interested in a waterway?
Good point.
Well, the reason is because they were able to put the train right alongside it, and there was no houses or structures in their way, so it was a real easy path for them.
That makes sense. Do you guys know how long the Erie Canal was? 468 miles, and I think you know where it went from.
Yeah, it stretched from Toledo, then came through Fort Wayne to Peru, Lafayette, down to Terre Haute and Evansville before it went into the Ohio River.
For 10 years, that's all they did.
Hey, by the way, I got some trivia for you. This is a train car. How many house packages can you place on this train car?
Ooh, 5?
Yeah, 5, 8.
Well, add all your numbers together. It's actually
37.
about 10. About 10 house packages on a train car compared to a truck.
How many would you do on a truck?
4,
I think
I
about
think.
4, yeah.
About 4. So 2.5 times more on the train car.
Well, and then the truck system, of course, is also based off of the Lincoln Highway, which is a big part of Fort Wayne and New Haven's history as well. A guy named Alan Fisher back in 1913 decided to make a coast-to-coast highway that started in Times Square in New York and went all the way to Lincoln Park in San Francisco. It had over 3,300 miles of highway and actually goes through 14 states and 700 cities and towns.
Unbelievable. And we in Fort Wayne and out here in New Haven are a big part of that transportation. So, I thought this was very fun, interesting information. I hope our audience enjoyed it. I think we are about ready to start our show. They're ready for us inside. So,
And I'm not trying to be a baby or anything, but can someone kind of help me with the splinter?
Hang on.
oh,
These are fun. You know, Tony, I've got one of these at home. These are great. You know, you can move the whole track. Let's try to move this. Oh, guys, stop! Look! Oh, wait.
Oh, I'm out of here.
this is great. I'll tell you what, this Kirk knife is amazing. What they can do with this. Hey, we got to get going. I think we're out of time. Let's start the show. So,
All right.
Lonnie?
Yeah, hey, welcome to Between the Studs. I'm Lonnie Norris, and this is Tony Reinke, president of Granite Ridge Builders, and this is part of the Granite Ridge Builders custom home building team. We build custom homes in northern Indiana and parts of northwest Ohio, southern Michigan as well, and we enjoy coming into your home and talking about products and processes and plans and new trends that characterize today's new home. It's a lot to talk about, isn't it?
There really is, and this is so much fun for us. We're going to talk a lot about how we assemble things today. We're out here at Home Lumber. This is one of our partners for 40 years. They do so much.
I didn't know you were that old, but go ahead. Yeah.
That's you started that. So what we're going to do is we're going to meet these gentlemen. We're also going to look a little bit about how they assemble doors for us, all the parts and pieces that are so important to building a new home. So let's get started. Let's start maybe with the door shop.
Let's do it.
Or wait, let's introduce the Home Lumber guys first, and then we'll go back to the door shop.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right
Lonnie, this is one of my favorite places to visit. Home Lumber out here in New Haven. You know, these guys have been in business for almost 60 years. You and I have been doing business with them for almost 40. Hey,
Yeah,
by the
you're
way,
right.
we use M&Ms at our office. You guys are gumballs.
Love
I
those
like yours
gumballs.
better.
Hey, by the way, I need to return one stud.
Oh, wait.
No credit. No credit on that one.
Oh,
Sorry.
Throw him in the pile, but
Anyway, it's
no credit.
exciting to be here today, you know, because Home Lumber is certainly one of Granite Ridge's most important partners when it comes to building these custom homes. And we're here today with Eric Cordy, who's a third generation founder. Tell us a little bit of who you work with and about that generation.
Sure. Well, we were founded in '57, so almost 60 years.
Okay.
And to my left here is our general manager, Paul Mills.
Wonderful guy.
And to my right is our outside salesman, Greg Ford, who handles
that
your
man.
account.
Yeah, he does a very good job.
Yeah.
You know, you guys have been awesome partners for us. We appreciate all you do. If you don't mind, can we kind of tear up your place for our show this week?
Sure. Keys are yours.
We're going
Power
to need your
saw,
help.
maybe?
He wants
Nailer?
to do the power
Okay.
saw. I get the nailer. Would you guys help us start the show then?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's
You
do
know,
it.
where should we start first? You guys think over in the door shop? Let's go there. Yeah. Okay. Let's go over here.
Well, look, we're standing here in building number 4 where Home Lumber assembles their doors. So we're in the door shop, you might say.
Yeah, absolutely. And while we're talking about the doors, why don't we talk about the makeup of a door?
Let's do it. You know, there's more than 11 or 12 parts to a door. So we talk about processes and assembly and many parts and pieces that go into a custom home. We need to talk about doors.
Yeah, now we got 2 examples of some jams here, Lonnie.
Okay.
Now, a jam is essentially just the framing that goes around the door.
The door
So-
hangs on the frame.
Right, so we
Okay?
would call this the door slab, and this is the door jam.
Okay.
Now, this door jam looks different than the one over here.
It does. It does.
This is a more traditional solid door jam where it's one solid piece all the way across, and then you still need to attach the casing,
or
around the
frame.
door.
Okay, the trim.
Now over here we have a split jam. This is what
kinda
we
see
use
that?
at Granite Ridge. Yep.
Uh-huh.
So there's actually 2 pieces. And in that, you actually, like it's called a split jam, you can pull it apart.
We're looking at this part right here.
Yep, we
So
are.
it allows us to put the door together on both sides of the jam, you might say.
Yeah, so when they get it to the
Okay.
job, they actually will pull these 2 parts apart. You got a male part and a female part.
Okay.
They fit nice and snug together. This actually speeds up the process about a half an hour to an hour every
Per door. That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And because one of those advantages, the casing actually comes out already installed on the door. So it's actually installed in this building, then sent out to our job site already pre-assembled.
And Luke, also not only does it speed up the process, but also assures good quality because we do something at those miter cuts, don't we, or
Yeah.
joints?
Yeah, and you mentioned a miter. A miter is essentially 2 45s cut so that they make a perfect 90.
And what do we do at Granite Ridge to make sure these are tight?
Well,
and
like you
don't
have
move?
in your hand there,
Uh-huh.
that's a kerf nail.
Okay.
And that gets put into both of these pieces of wood, essentially bonding them together. So we mentioned earlier in the show about some moisture. Now, when this expands and contracts with that moisture, that knife's gonna hold those pieces tight together so that miter doesn't start opening or shrinking.
So we're going to get a really nice tight fit. It's not going to squeak. It's going to be there, and people are going to be able to enjoy it for the years to come.
Yep.
So here we are at door number 4 of Home Lumber, where they're actually doing the creative process of making our interior doors. We've got doors from Parker's Bay and from Sienna Reserve being worked on here today, and they're going to do it all right here.
Yep. Izzy, this is where it all starts. These are all the door slabs here for that Parker's Bay lot we talked about. They'll come off of a truck onto this pallet here, and then they take it to this first machine behind me, where the machine actually mortises in for all of the hinges and deadbolts and strike plates that are needed for these interior doors. Once they're done with that, there'll actually be one side of the jam already on the door, and then it goes to the next section over where they start actually building the rest of the door ready to go out to our job site. So why don't we jump over there and we can show you the rest of the process. Yeah, so the last station, they had the slab and one side of the jam on. Now they get sent to these tables behind us where they install the other side of the jam, the head piece of the jam. Then from there, they put on the casing on both sides of the door. It gets glued and nailed, and then that kerf knife goes in. And then they put in a couple extra pieces just to keep it nice and square and safe during transportation, where it goes to a holding area to a truck out to Parker's Bay like we mentioned.
Typically, they can make about 100 doors a day, but with as many styles and choices that we offer now, we're looking at more about 60 to 70 a day, but still, the way we do it now is so much more streamlined and helps the process go smoothly.
Yeah, and a typical house maybe has about 18 doors, so they're doing several houses a day here at this door shop.
I think
I like
this
this
one,
one.
yep, I think that would look good too.
So we're here with the finished product of the door assembly. You know, there's a lot that goes into this. So we have the door slab, the split jamb, the casing, it's all ready to go, and even the hinges.
Luke and Lonnie showed us how these are assembled, and here's the finished product. So these are ready for the job site. The trimmer will actually install these out at the home.
They will. It's very important for Granite Ridge to try to make as many decisions up front, and you can see why. There's so many things that go into even just building a simple door. You have your casing style, and here you can see you have some straight profiles, some colonial profiles, all sorts of different options that really play up the decorative feature of your door.
The casing is actually really important too, because that's going to tell you maybe the style of what your home is. It maybe is craftsman, maybe traditional.
It definitely does. Then you have the style of your door to consider, and again, even hardware is an important feature. The color of your hardware that you're going to do throughout your house, you want that to match your actual handle, and so we do that ahead of time so it's all ready for the door assembly.
Another big consideration, Kayla, is the width of the door. They do come in different widths, so you may have a 2-foot door, a 3-foot door, but it is really important.
You know, one of my favorite new trends is definitely stained woodwork is coming back. Let's go take a look at a door that's ready to be stained.
Okay, speaking of transportation, Lonnie, I think we've got to load this up, don't we? All right, let's get on the truck.
Oh, don't hurt yourselves.
Oh, wow. Hey, we're out here in this demonstration trailer. It's a little noisy, but we're out here looking at new products as it relates to all those many products that we use to build a custom home. 300,000 things go in these new homes, a lot of things to think about. Today, we're going to talk about the house wrap.
Yep, house wrap, subfloor, wall sheething, and we got a special guest today. This is Justin Grimes with Huber Engineered Woods, and he's going to explain some of these products.
Great. Let's talk about the subfloor first of all.
Yeah, so the subfloor is a Vantec subflooring. The way that we manufacture this is essentially a 12-inch mat that goes down to a 3/4 inch during compression.
Wow.
We put a special resin in there called MDI resin that wicks away water. So we actually have a 500-day no sand guarantee with this product.
So over a year, you can leave this outside and it won't swell.
Essentially, yes.
Right, and not every builder uses this, but at Granite Ridge Builders, we always use this on our first floors and over our basements to protect those floors when we're building the home.
Now, I got another product here, Justin. What do we have here?
This is our zip system wall and roof sheeting. The zip system, we manufacture the green panel as a 7/16. We also do a burnt sienna collar, brownish collar, and a 1/2 inch of 5/8.
So this would actually take the place of like a house wrap, for example?
It would, yeah. So there's a membrane that we put onto the zip system that is your moisture barrier. So it eliminates your house wrap altogether. The panels go up just like regular OSB would, and then we use our acrylic-based tape to tape the seams. And it's a much energy-efficient design than traditional house wrap.
Now, you said it could also go on the roof, so does that replace the underlayment for the roof?
It does, yeah. So it would replace the roofing felt and also clips that you would use to install the sheathing on the roof.
I know some framers and roofers are going to be very excited about these products. Thanks.
Thank you.
Now, Justin, we got another new product here that has to deal with sealing the envelope of the house, and then also just some moisture management.
Absolutely. So for installing your windows, you want to make sure that you flash the bottom of your sill pan first. With the new technology that we came out with, this is our zip system acrylic tape. It's the same acrylic technology that goes on the front of the emblem on your vehicle. Same exposure time, 180 days. So essentially you can put one single piece on your window instead of doing a 3-step pan flashing process. And what's nice with this technology is the tape actually stretches right around the corner.
So that eliminates some of the seams, like you mentioned with the 3-step process, where water could essentially penetrate.
Absolutely, yeah. And the corner of it here is the most prone position where moisture can sit and cause rotting out your windowsills.
And you can leave this tape exposed for 6 months before you have to cover it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Tony, what are you doing with the lumber?
I'm looking at how straight it is. It amazes me how they have these long 2x4s and they're just as straight as can be.
This is really exciting. We're out at Home Lumber. We're in the lumber yard, and this is the actual lumber package for a home that we're getting ready to build.
Now, in that lumber package, we're going to have your 2x4s, we're going to have the sheathing, we're going to have the joists, we're going to have some of the roofing system. What else are we going to have in there?
We're going to have the top plates, we're going to have the headers, so a lot of lumber goes into one home. This is a ranch home. We're about 1,800 square feet on a slab. So this would fill about half a semi-truck, or if it came in by rail car, we could build about 10 of these houses per one rail car.
So I get one rail car, I got 10 houses.
Yeah, so this is exciting. This is really the beginning stages of this home. You can see there's so many components, so many parts and pieces that go into building.
You know, I'm really excited about it because, I mean, in like 4 months, this is going to be a house like this.
We're here at Home Lumber in the lumber yard, and this little label right here tells us an awful lot about this whole stack of wood.
You're right, Izzy. I can tell that this is a southern yellow pine. It's a 2x8, and Izzy, just 3 to 6 weeks ago, this was a tree standing out in a forest somewhere. And during that process, they've actually cut it, milled it, and then kiln dried it. And the kiln dry is getting that moisture content out of the wood. That's very important because when it's about 60% and they dry it down to that 12 to 14%, the boards will actually shrink quite a bit. So if you were to put a board in that's got the high moisture content, and once it shrinks itself out, once it dries, you'll actually end up with a gap. You won't have that nice tight fit.
So when we talk about weekend warriors and putting in decks, you told me before that we need to make sure that we don't end up having the wood laugh at us. I don't remember exactly what that meant though.
Yeah, this is a stud tip, so pay attention. When you look at the crown of these boards, some of them look like they're smiling at you, where others look like they're frowning at you. If it's smiling at you, we say that means that it's laughing at you, because that board over time will actually have a tendency to start cupping up when the water sits on top of it. But when it's frowning, that water's gonna have a tendency to shed off of it, and you won't get that cup on your deck.
And there's your nice stud tip for how to make a weekend deck.
It's going to take 2 hours to put this back together.
Well, I touched that one and that one too.
Yeah,
Luke,
I'll get that work
I'm
done.
sorry, he does it at my house too.
It's all right.
Hey, we're here with Gabe Miller here at Home Lumber, and we're going to talk about fireplaces. Now, fireplaces have changed so much in the last couple of years. Now, what are some of the reasons why they've changed so much?
Well, a lot of things that have happened is they have a contemporary style now that's now available. You can have glass put into it. That's become more of that's a West Coast thing coming towards the Midwest, but also the ceramic logs.
Yeah, so that looks like a real log, but you said it's a ceramic log.
That's correct.
So
yes.
it's fake, but it won't burn.
Right, that's correct.
Now, I got something here that kind of looks like insulation. What purpose does this serve?
Yeah, no, that's more so for the glowing feature. It gives it a more realistic look when the fire starts to burn.
Okay, so these are made to look almost like a burning ember at the bottom of like a fire.
Yep,
okay,
correct.
so they're actually making these artificial fires look more realistic, like a true wood burner.
Yeah, exactly. So when the fire starts to burn, it just looks like burnt ash dropping off the firewood.
Now, Kayla, you got a few other things in your hands. What are those?
I do. Now, what we mentioned before, we have some more modern looks as well. You could put crystals or rocks in a unit that's a little bit more contemporary for a fun special feature.
Wait, so you're telling me it's a fireplace with no logs?
Exactly. You could do crystals or all sorts of different colors. You can even make it look like river rock.
Very cool. Well, let's take a look at some of those. There's
All
one right back here.
Yeah.
Tony, we're talking about the thousands of parts and pieces that have to be put together to make a beautiful home. Well, exterior is obviously a choice. What do we have over here?
We've got some great pre-made up columns. So these are stuff that they're going to get all taken care of at Home Lumber, take it out to the job site. You've got to do a little painting on it, but these things are warranted for over 25 years, and they're good for interior or exterior. So if you wanted that really nice column in your dining room area, right there you go.
Sure. So these are all pre-assembled for us. It takes a lot of work, but it is fun when it gets out there. Now, this is the product of the year for me. This is a PVC product. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We also have composite material for the railing, all pre-assembled, made up, and there's a
Go out
special
there.
feature of the year, which is
Pop it in, and then if you want to, you can do some special lighting.
Okay, now this is really fun for me. This will glow. This is astounding for a back rear deck, isn't it?
Back deck, front deck.
Let's go talk about
Could
some
you
of the
imagine
decks.
putting in different colored lights at Christmas?
Oh my goodness, this would be amazing.
Remember, we actually did this at that model.
Yeah. Now, Kayla, we're talking about all the parts and pieces that go into a house, and there's thousands of them. But one of them that can get pretty complex is trim work in a house.
It can. Now, we've actually coined the term trimscaping, and we really love to work on all sorts of different trim ideas.
Yeah, now here's a stud fact. What I have in my hand here is actually how a base board was actually assembled before we were able to mill it all out into one piece. So it has the base shoe, which is the bottom piece of the base. Now that actually functioned as, people used to always wear those black shoes. So a lot of scuff marks would actually be built up on this base shoe, and it wouldn't get to the actual base board back here. So you got the base board behind the base shoe, and then on top was usually a base cap, giving it a little extra profile just for aesthetics.
That's great. Now, these come in so many different profiles, lots of different options here. This here shows a pretty simple colonial profile. You have all sorts of sizes, so you can get the same thing in a different size. You might, if you have an 8-foot ceiling, do the 3 1/4 base. If you have a taller ceilings, you might want to consider doing 5 1/4 or even a base, a built-up baseboard.
Now you mentioned it with those taller ceilings, sometimes you can kind of get this empty box feeling. But by having a taller base or even putting a piece of crown mold on, which a crown mold is actually put right where the ceiling and the wall meets, it kind of helps bring those ceilings down a little bit, just giving it a little bit more of a comfortable feel.
And we have so many different ways that you can do crown molding. You can do, again, just a single piece like this here, or some built up different options depending on the height that you're looking for.
Yeah, when it comes to trim work, really the sky's the limit. As you can see behind us, there's hundreds of options depending on what style you're looking for. There's more traditional, or there's more contemporary look. It's something that can be customized house to house.
What's great about Granite Ridge is the designers all have experience in helping customers design their perfect trimscape for their home.
Okay, why don't we pick out one for our next model?
All right, let's take a look. Maybe we should do...
Kayla, Frank Lloyd Wright design?
It definitely is.
You know what? We just got done with an amazing tour in Butler, Indiana. This is the Midwest's largest door supplier, and that's Thermo-Tru doors.
And Home Lumber carries Thermo-Tru doors. It's amazing the process it takes to actually create one of these. Now, when we were there, Thermo-Tru told us that if you replace your front door, it could increase your home value by as much as about 10%.
It's amazing because that first impression of a home when you first walk up to it really does give you the style and what you're trying to portray in your home. And right out here at Home Lumber, they have some amazing examples of what you can do.
We do have so many different door styles. You can have something that's a solid panel, clear glass, frosted glass, even some with these great leaded glass designs.
And there's another thing that you like to talk about a lot when it comes to doors, and that is...
I love stain. I love stained doors. Everyone loves a great wood stained door, especially in this Craftsman look that we have going on right now. But Thermo-Tru uses a fiberglass that's actually stainable for the outside for some of their doors, depending if you want it painted or stained.
Thermo-Tru has been doing a lot of great work with exterior doors, interior doors, but have you seen what they're doing with garage doors?
I don't know if I have yet.
We need to go this way.
All right, let's take a look. As a designer, I have to say new introductions and new products make my life so exciting. It's my favorite thing ever, and this definitely has to be over the top.
These are really nice. These are just a new product from Thermo-Tru, and they're actually skins that can go on top of garage doors. That way you can get all kinds of new styles.
Definitely. There's a handful of styles and a handful of color options. It's pre-finished, which is a definite benefit that it comes out this color already, and this way you can actually match your front door as well.
A lot of people want that wood looking, garage door. And do you know how expensive a actual wood garage door would be after all?
It's quite a bit.
So now you can just take it, you can have this wood skin on there, give it that look you're looking for, but at the same time, keep your costs down a little bit.
Which is awesome. And garage doors, again, have come such a long way in selections. You have the Craftsman style doors. We're putting handles and straps on. So every year they're coming out with more and more styles to dress up the exterior of your home.
One thing I've really been liking is all the different glasses.
Oh, isn't that great?
Tony, when you do a single hung, you got to keep in mind that actually makes the screen go on the outside rather than like a casement, where the casement, the screen's on the inside.
Wow,
Yeah.
big consideration.
It is.
Now, we carry Anderson Windows, and that's probably the most recognizable name in the country. So.
Yeah, now I just got back from their factory tour, Tony, and I got to tell you, now we can get these windows for around $400. It's amazing that these things don't cost $2,000 or more. The amount of work and attention to detail and quality that goes into these windows is just outstanding.
The vinyl clad, the argon, and we've talked about that in quite a few other segments,
have.
but today, let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about grills. Now, there's a lot of different names.
Yeah.
I've heard muttons.
By muttons, I've heard grids.
Grids, we usually call them grills.
Yep.
Why don't you explain a little bit what are some of the options in grills today?
Yeah, so the grill we're talking about is these pieces here. So they're meant to look like an older window. Because back in the day, they couldn't actually make a pane of glass as big as our windows are today. They had to make smaller glasses because that's all the technology they had.
Ooh, that makes sense. Now, I've got a fun tip for everybody. Did you know if you look at a Georgian style home and it has, let's say, 10 of those grills or even maybe 8 instead of a couple, guess which one was an older style home? The one that had 10, because they couldn't make big pieces of glass until later on, so you can always tell what age a Georgian style home was.
Right. So now with these grills, again, it's meant to look like an older style home. Now you can do several different things. Sometimes the grills are only on the inside of the window.
Okay.
In this case, this one actually has it where it's simulated on both sides. So it has one fixed to the outside and one fixed on the inside.
Okay.
If we take a step further, this one here is a fine light, where this is actually inside the 2 panes of
Like
glass.
that for cleaning.
It makes it very easy. You don't have to, you can take your rag all the way up and down rather than doing each individual pane there.
Okay, now here's one that's a style that is a prairie style. That's a really popular one right now.
Yeah, prairie style. There's a tall fractional.
Okay, that's just
at
the very top. And you have colonial, which I'm carrying right here.
Yep. And then a couple other things you can do with grids. You can actually get a check rail, and it shows it down there where it's a 2 1/4 inch rail that goes across the window, maybe right in here. And it's meant so that you can make a window like a casement look like a double hung or a single hung from the outside.
Okay, now that's really cool. So you can still get a casement window, but it looks like a double hung. And then
Yes.
I've got a fun quiz for you. See that window right there?
Yeah.
Okay, guess what that's called? It's actually called trefoil. It's got the 3 half rounds, and I'll bet you guess you can't. Another name for trefoil is.
Well, it kind of looks like a Girl Scout cookie that I've
That's it.
seen.
You know, you always know the cookie
I
stuff,
think they
don't
got
you?
some here. We better go find them.
Oh, yeah, I bought some. Can you believe this? We've got to reload this. Who's the one that put this in the wrong spot?
How do you unload a train car?
Oh, man. I can't believe 10 more houses in here. Oh, all right. I don't know about you, but I'm tired already.
Break time.
Okay, I think this was a fun show. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We really do enjoy the process. We love coming into your homes every day. So, again, Kayla, why don't you close the show?
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us so much. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do so well, please visit the website, call the number on the screen, or even better yet, come on in the front door. We'd really love to meet you.
Now, guys, before we close, I think we need to bring the home lumber staff
Oh,
back out.
absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for all the business. We've been doing business with them for 30 to 40 years. Guys, these guys are excellent. They'll help you out. Give them a call anytime also. Thanks for doing this, guys. Hey, would you guys help us?
Put that stuff back over
No,
there.
yeah, you guys help us load. You can just watch them. Just kind of pretend like you're going.
Yeah, just shake your head.
You're just going.
I'll help him lift it.
Yeah. Is this it? There you go. Man, finally.
Last pieces. Last
We're
pieces.
done.
We're done.
Wow.
Hey, this is exciting. We're out here in oh, sorry, start over.
Oh, are you kidding me? I can only jump once.
We're out here in home lumber.
These two.
This is part of Granite Ridge team for Sir. Are you laughing?
Start over, do it again.
Now, Tony, when you go to a single hung, you got to keep in mind that this.
The normal usage.
Me up, that's all, folks.
And the Porky Pig comes out.